What do you think grief teaches us about love?
Grief is the other side of love. And if I used to work in a hospital, and when people would have open heart surgery, they're given, the heart pillow that you're supposed to hold on to. So if you cough or sneeze, that you don't affect your scars and the surgery. And I always imagine that heart pillow. One says love, and the other side says grief. And I think throughout our lives, we're holding the love side close. But when we lose a person, it flips to grief. And I think honoring our grief, honoring our feelings, not ignoring them, gets us back to the other side of that pillow, which is the other side of grief, and that's love. So I think grief teaches us about love and appreciation and communication, and that's the goal.
What do you say to someone who just feels like they'll never experience joy again?
I like to validate their feelings and say that you won't feel the kind of joy that you had before, but you can find joy in different ways and take them on that journey with them. So it's not just the absence physically, but that you still have the connection with them. I can never remember, Jay, I never remember what it's called, but there's Japanese art where when things get broken.
Yeah, Kintsugi.
Yes, and they put it back together and it's got the golden glue. It actually highlights the cracks. I feel like grief is highlighting the cracks. We put ourselves back together because we have to, but we're never seen the same way again. How could you? My son's middle name is after two boys that have passed, both named Michael. And one of the boys, he was a firefighter in 9/11, Michael Kiefer. And his mom, when I read for her, she's a powerhouse of a lady, she's a powerhouse of a mom. And she told me a story once, and she said, somebody asked her, how you doing? And she said, well, there was the me before 9/11 and there's the me after 9/11. No greater phrase can be said, because we all have that. There's the you before the event and there's the you after the event. And I think when you recognize that there's a different version of you now, and again, that's in every way that you can grieve, by the way. It's not just death, right? If you've gone through a divorce, there's the you before the divorce, there's the you after the divorce. If you broke up with a long-term friendship, there's the you before that, the you after that. How do you navigate life in this new way? Trying to be the old you can't. Doesn't work.
Yeah, that validation piece is so important.
Huge.
Even hearing you just say to someone that, yeah, you won't feel the joy you felt before. In one sense, it's so freeing because we're trying so hard to feel that joy again, and knowing that you won't is liberating because it stops you from chasing and pursuing something that isn't going to happen again.
But it also could be a free fall.
Tell me about that.
So when my mom passed, the morning that she passed, I had to go, long story, but pick up a tuxedo to be in a family wedding that I promised I would do in case she did pass, and she passed right before the wedding. So that morning I was like sitting in my car and I looked up at the window of the room that she had just passed in maybe 3 hours earlier. And my first thought was, nobody's ever going to care what time I come home again. I had no boundaries. And I was like, that's a scary feeling. There was nobody to tell me no. There was nobody to stop me. There was nobody that was going to be like, you shouldn't do that, because nobody would probably dare at that time. It was a scary feeling. So in life, when you find yourself in a place of questioning something like I did, right? And you could be 36 doing that, you have a feeling that could be like free falling. And that's a scary place. You don't know if there's a net. You don't know if somebody's going to catch you. And then with that grief, maybe you stop talking to people and you shut down, or maybe you start drinking, or maybe somebody puts on 47 pounds, whatever the thing is.